your flesh and blood.
Welcome to Tell Me Your Story, new paradigms for a new world where we're giving you choices and knowledge of those choices to help make your dreams come true. We are here 9 times a week, Sundays at 7 a.m. and 7 p.m., Monday mornings at 1 a.m., Wednesdays at 9 a.m., and Monday through Friday from 8 to 9 a.m., streaming live at all those times at richarddugan.com. We are on SoundCloud, iTunes, TuneIn Radio, Spotify, Stitcher, Player FM, as well as YouTube, where you can watch these conversations. I hope that you will take time to subscribe and click notifications so that when a new conversation is posted, you'll be notified and you'll be able to tune in, listen in, and learn, and be entertained and inspired. A reminder that Choices, which is my book, 5 Steps for Life, it's available on Amazon.com in paperback, hardcover, and Kindle with Audible, soon to be released. We also ask that if you can support the work that we are doing financially, we do have a PayPal account. It is there for your security as well as ours. And when they ask for an email address to whom you're sending, please go to richard@richarddugan.com. That's the email address. If you go to richarddugan.com, there is also a link directly to PayPal so that you can send us whatever support you can. And we thank you to those who have helped and to those who will help. We also ask that you take time during this decade of perfect vision, the 2020s, to go within to that quiet, peaceful, calm, still place and listen to that still, small voice. And with that, we now take you to our very special interview and guest here on Tell Me Your Story. And welcome to Tell Me Your Story, New Paradigms for a New World. I am Reverend Dr. D. Richard Dugan, and it's a great pleasure to have you with us here on the program as we dive once again into the aspect of emotion, body, and belief codes. We have with us on the program today a staff practitioner who is going to be talking to us and helping us to understand these codes a little bit, maybe more than just a little bit, because we can kind of get stuck sometimes in the areas in which we find ourselves. The website, by the way, before we go any further, is discoverhealing.com. That's discoverhealing.com. My guest is Mary Ruiz, certified emotion code, body code, and belief code staff practitioner, has also worked as director of emotion code certification. She's got 2 kids and loves to travel, and wonderful thing there. I do too. And you're also helping us, teaching us as a teacher yourself to better understand what's going on with the 129 million Americans who live with at least one chronic disease and millions struggling with chronic pain, fatigue, digestive issues. I won't even go there. We already know that there are a lot of people that are suffering with a real bad digestive issue, and I don't know if it has anything to do with emotion, body, or belief, but you never know. Mary, thank you so much for joining us here on the program.
Thank you, Reverend. It's my pleasure to be here and an honor to be part of the program today. I appreciate that.
I know too that we've also got issues with autoimmune disorders as well as other problems that persist. These symptoms that just won't go away. I mean, I myself have been dealing with since 2020. I was originally diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. Now, I always knew that I was kind of borderline, but then I went over the wall, so to speak. But then I got rid of it in 6 weeks. I was able to get my blood sugar back to normal in 6 weeks. I did start out with metformin, 2 a day, and I went down to 1. I did this myself. Went down to 1, kept monitoring. It kept going down. I get to September, from August to September, and it's like, oh, I'm at normal. I'll keep taking the 1, and we'll get the blood checked in November. Got it checked. It was normal. And I thought, okay, well, I keep monitoring, but I'm going to drop the 1. And I dropped the 1, and it stayed normal. And I checked, it was checked again in February of the following year. It was still normal and stayed that way until April. And that was 2020, July. It stayed normal until April of 2024, and then it spiked. I found out that it was due more to stress than it was what I was eating because I didn't change anything. I had dropped sodas and I had dropped this and that, and I was eating other things and so forth. So now I have to ask myself the question, well, if it's due to stress, how do I de-stress myself? And that's sort of the emotional component, isn't it? That's the emotional component, maybe tied to the belief component as well, because our beliefs can cause stress too, can't they?
Yes, definitely. If you believe that something is wrong with you, you probably are going to get, those issues to go with that belief and get sicker or get something that it can affect your health. And not only your body health, right? It's also your mental and your emotional health. So yeah, probably those beliefs have to do something with it.
Well, I know that we've had on this program a whole lot of people talking about different solutions to some of these persistent emotional issues, these unresolved issues. And of course, you and your organization, and of course, discoverhealing.com, you've come up with a method, a practice, a protocol, if you will. In this case, since we've started down this particular path of the emotional issues, talk to us about, do we need to understand first why it is that we're holding on to these things that then cause the issues in our physical bodies?
Yeah, Reverend, it's very interesting because, for example, here at Discover Healing, we teach people how to identify those emotions that are affecting your body in any way and then release them, right? But how the emotion get kind of like stuck within you. So because we feel all the time, we are humans, we feel emotions. So we see that sometimes when you are experiencing an emotion that is like stronger for your body, the body is not able to process it fully, that emotion, and that charge of that emotion gets kind of like stuck within your body, and it is the reason that you will then suffer for something within your body, right? Now, talking about what you're mentioning about, the diabetes and all that, the gut, we know now that some emotions, depending on the emotions that you have, you may have the different microbiota in your body,
Mm-hmm.
So there are some emotions that will feed kind of like the pathogens, the parasites and all that are different for another person. So it's very interesting how emotions can really affect us at that level too.
Is this something that is, I want to say, fairly new or newly discovered, this connection, or have we known this for decades or maybe even centuries in other cultures?
I think so. Just now we are making that connection, Once we realize that our digestive system, there is neurons and all the, information that is within, now we are doing that connection on how it can affect our brain, the way of thinking, and also the way that our body reacts to it. But it's been that kind of like inside wisdom in other cultures on how to treat your emotions. I'm going to give you an example. For example, in Mexico, when you go through a period of great distress, or let's say you were into a shocking experience, in my family, my grandma will give me a piece of bread, right? Okay, take this bread so it will help you with the shocking experience that you just went through, or take this because you are so stressed, so that the bread will help you to release that. So I think that is part of other cultures, but it's now at this time that we are able to do the linking on between your emotions and also the way that your body is reacting to it.
So the steps, the protocol, if you will, in terms of beginning, we need to recognize first that we've got this connection, between the physical dis-ease, whether it be, in my case, type 2 diabetes. By the way, I was diagnosed at one point about, I'm going to say 6 or 7 years ago with high blood pressure. All right. And my mother said to me, well, don't worry too much about it. It's hereditary. And I said, I didn't say this to her, but I said after I got off the phone with her, I don't want it. All right. I do not want it. Well, guess what? I'm not taking any meds for it. And I check it occasionally. Okay. And it's fine. It's normal. I mean, that's the one funny thing about the sugar and the blood pressure, blood sugar and blood pressure. They change throughout the day. Even like your heart rate, if you exercise, that kind of stuff, it goes up, it goes down, it goes up, it goes down. And I sit here asking the question, okay, I get the norms. I get you've got your 1,000 people and you take your blood sugar readings and then you do an average, right? You take all of them, you total them up, and then you divide by the number of people that you've totaled up. And it gives you your average. And yet I found out not long ago, Mary, that in the case of blood sugar, the norm, where the normal is, was in the 2 to 300s. That was the norm. It was okay to be between 2 and 300. Now, the norm is 120. Now, that's just the norm. The high end is 150. The low end, I think, is 80. How do we make sense of these kinds of statistics when it comes to our emotional, our physical, and I'll call it our psychological or spiritual health in terms of emotion, body, and beliefs?
I think one key element on doing this is part of start listening to the wisdom of our bodies, right? Because at the end of the day, everybody is different and everybody's going to get different outcomes of information that we get and how the body's going to react to it. Once you start knowing your body better and changing your beliefs and recognizing those emotions and do also, getting good nutrition and all that, we'll be able to be at better health, and not only your physical health, but also your emotional and your mental health. So it's important to follow the medical advice and all that, but it's also important to start recognizing how the stress can affect us, those things that we didn't process, and start going within and start checking on that. And that is something that really we teach here in Discover Healing, on how to connect with your body, identify those emotions that were not processed by it, and then release them with a simple method that we have there and we teach, like the emotion code. So I think it's important to start realizing that and how the connection goes with how I feel right now with all the things that is been on my body, and then see if there is emotions that my body is not able to process and is the cause really for what is going on.
We're talking with Mary Ruiz. She is a certified practitioner with the website discoverhealing.com as we continue here on Tell Me Your Story. Mary, I want to ask you about the emotional code, body code, belief code, energy healing training created by Dr. Bradley Nelson, was a world-renowned energy healing expert and lecturer and so forth. What can you tell me about him?
Well, Dr. Bradley Nelson started with this a long time ago. He also he was doing his practice as a chiropractor, seeing patients at that time, and noticing that some of his patients will come back after he was doing the adjustments, kind of like with the same issue, right? So he started saying, okay, what is going on? And he started realizing the link between those adjustments that he needed to do with emotions that were not processed at that time. So he developed what we call now the emotion code. And that is the foundation of the methodology that we teach in Discover Healing, which is first to understand your emotions, how to identify the ones that they weren't release and then help the body to process them. And then he continued with this investigation and notice how the body, the connections between the body can also, imbalances can cause you issues within your body, right? So it's part of all the step one, knowing your emotions, then step two, see all the imbalances that can cause you something within your body, like imbalances, toxins, your nutrition, your misalignments, all those things that are part of you too, that they can be imbalanced. And then once you start understanding that, it can guide you to see how the beliefs can affect you too. When you are growing up, all those beliefs that it can, cause you problems with your projects, with the way that you think, and the way that you have your relationships with your partner, finding love. So it's very broad that you can also see all the parts that you need help within your life.
And you have a couple of books available, I guess maybe 3, the Emotion Code, the Body Code, and there is a Belief Code book.
We have the Heart Code too, which is very interesting, Reverend, because we work with something that we call the Heart Wall, and he was one of the first persons to do this link between how your heart can be building up a wall around it, and it can, make you have issues with it, but also have the important thing on how to you relate to people from love, and you receive love, which is, I think, is one of the greatest thing to start working with, getting rid of that heart wall. It can change your life, basically.
Yeah. It is to me fascinating what's available to us today that can help us to work through a lot of these different conditions. I consider myself very healthy, despite the fact that, I'm taking care of and monitoring my blood sugar to make sure that it stays primarily below 200. Okay. If I can keep it, because there was a time when, believe it or not, I was over 564, and I've had A1Cs of 11, 12, and then there was one that they took that was beyond the measuring point, according to them. Okay.
Yeah.
I have to wonder, maybe, are you guys doing the test right? I have to ask you that, because it doesn't make sense that my A1C is over 14 and I'm still alive. I'm still functioning. And so I have to wonder, was something done right? And then, of course, there are the skeptics who say, oh, no, I don't trust the medical community at all, period. Because all they're interested in doing is pushing pills. Mm-hmm. And it's pretty evident with the commercials. I love some of these commercials for some of these pharmaceuticals where here's the condition that you're going to take this for, right? And let's just say it's a heart condition. You're going to take it for a heart condition, right? Guess what one of the side effects is? The very heart condition you're taking it for.
Yes.
Really? Yes. That would be like going to the doctor with a broken leg, and the solution is that it could result in a broken leg.
Yeah.
I'll splint it myself. Okay. I'll drink lots of alcohol. I'll splint it myself. And hopefully it will knit together and I'll be able to walk just fine down the road. But what about the dichotomy between those who say, I trust my doctor or my practitioner. And again, we're also talking about alternative health and wellness. And then the skeptics who say, I don't trust anybody because they're all out just to make money. Mm-hmm. How do you, because obviously people are not going to come to discoverhealing.com unless they really want help. I get that. But sometimes, because see, this is the problem that we have. I remember during the 2020 and the whole lockdown and everything, they said, according to a study that they conducted of all of the bodies that they had in the refrigerator cars, specifically in New York City, that 99 or 90% of those bodies had suffered death not due to the virus, but due to underlying conditions like heart, high blood pressure, high blood sugar, and the list goes on. So, so in other words, it was like the virus, the COVID-19, took advantage of their weakened conditions. So it's like they would have succumbed, and so our immune systems are compromised, et cetera, et cetera. So how do you overcome that to help people saying, look, we want a healthy country, we want a healthy population, we want to help?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a matter of knowing that we are not competing with the medical, we can work together. I have within my practice doctors that they send me their patients to help them with the emotional overload that they have, so they can then go to their treatment and get better results with it, right? That's one part. The other part is you as trying to help yourself or your family, and you say, I don't want it to have anything to do with the medical right now. I wanted to see other things that may be able to help me. You can go there and learn how to do it on yourself and within your family, and see and experiment how that works for you. In my case, when I started with this, it's been 16 years now. The point of entry for me was my son when he was little. The doctor said that my son was gonna develop asthma. So it was something very scary for me, and that opened me up to see other ways to help him. That's how I got into be a practitioner, and then learn more about all these modalities that you can help, naturally your body, and that they are there, and that's part of the wisdom and the culture that I come from. So I think it's a matter of you opening up your mind and let's try it. It's not one thing or the other one. It's more to see, okay, let's work together, because working together, you are able to get more of those results and to help more people, basically.
Are there other cultures that are less skeptical than the U.S. culture?
I think it's more about being able to connect with those cultures in a way to listen to your ancestors, right? Mm-hmm. The stories that you learn from your grandmas or your grandpas, that they take you to take a tea for this, right? Or if you wanted to go and sleep better, take a chamomile tea will help you. So it's been more like being open to it. Even though I see here in United States that we are becoming more open to it, that is part of how it's going on right now, that you wanted to have really a better foundation, not to compete with what we have, because it's something that is important. Like you say, if you've broken your leg, you need the doctor to help you with that, right?
Yeah.
So it's not to compete, it's more to complement. And I think that's a good compromise that we can get to.
Well, I know that people struggle with a lot of this stuff. They're challenged by it. There's no question about it.
Yeah.
Because they're uncomfortable. I mean, and rightly so, because, well, they're dealing with that stress, that distress, if you will. So, yeah, it's really a challenge. There's no question about it. But it's something that is, I think the right word here is surmountable. It is surmountable. And we hope that you folks will check out discoverhealing.com as we continue with Mary Ruiz here on Tell Me Your Story. You have, through discoverhealing.com, you have, as was mentioned already, the books of the emotional code, the body code, and the heart code, which I guess coincides with the belief code. Is that right?
Yes, it does. Yeah.
Greg Braden on this program years ago talked about how the heart is more than a muscle.
Yeah.
There is something truly energetic about the heart, and that it's kind of like that's sort of the source of where everything comes from, as opposed to, say, the brain.
Yeah.
And that we are linked at that heart level to one another, to the universe. And I think it was Carl Jung who said that there is only one mind in the universe, and we're all connected to it. We tap into it. Is that sort of where the heart code comes from, where that's where we're connected to one another and to the rest of the universe through the heart and to that one mind?
Yeah. Just imagine, Reverend, if we are connected by the heart, right? What happens if your heart is with a connection that is not functioning 100%? Meaning there is like a filter that it doesn't allow you to express your love or your feeling fully because you have those emotions around your heart. So that's what is part of this heart code. And we know now, there is the HeartMath Institute talking about all those things that the heart connects with, how the heart sends signals to the brain, to see and to give orders on how to connect with other people, but also on the way that you function with other people. So if you have this, what we call a wall around it, that doesn't allow those signals to go to where they need to go, the brain or your organs, well, we have an issue. But also the connection with another human being, So if people are not able to connect with other people, one example is like sometimes when you feel like everybody is in color and you feel in black and white, like for any reason you cannot connect with other people, or you don't feel that the people connect with you, is also part of that heart wall. And I think it's something that is very important to start working with it and release it, so you are able to conquer the things that you wanted to conquer, but also your projects. And if you wanted to have better relationships, and this will affect everybody, if we are not able to communicate from a love part, everything is going to be messed up, like we can see sometimes, right?
Mm-hmm. What's interesting is that we can actually observe people, especially those who are in the public eye. We can observe that they are suffering physical, mental, emotional, or even spiritual distress. And that no matter how much they deny it, no matter what medical reports they might put out, okay, because we don't know that that's the real medical report.
Yeah.
But when we look at people, we can see that they've got an issue. They've got issues, shall we say, as the phrase goes. You have issues. You need to
Yeah.
Do you and other practitioners, and according to what I have here, there are some 15,000 practitioners that Dr. Nelson has worked with and so forth. Do you have to go through a series of sessions and so forth to clear away? Because it's kind of like, why would I go, for example, to a dermatologist who maybe has psoriasis or has acne or some other skin condition that they haven't dealt with? Not taking away the fact that maybe they're good at what they do, but it's kind of hard to want to go to that person when they haven't resolved the issues in themselves. Have you and the other 15,000 had to go through some of these processes in order to clear, so that you come to the table with someone who has got the distress or dis-ease, and they can more readily believe that, oh, it does work because, well, you've been through it yourself?
Yeah, that's such a great question, Reverend. And yes, it makes you wonder, right? We need to go through practice. We need to practice with other volunteers where we practice what we are learning, obviously, and we need to practice on ourselves so that way we can experience. Saying that, that doesn't exempt you to go sick. You know, we're still humans and we're still gonna feel something.
Mm-hmm.
But what I notice on myself and in other practitioners is that you are able to recognize when something is taking a toll on you, and you are able to work on yourself, and also are able to ask for help. You know, to say, hey, it's kind of like when you are, taking a shower, there are some parts of you that you are not able to see. So you need other type of tools to help you, right? Kind of like to really clean your back, for example.
Yeah.
So yes, that's part of it. And with the example that you were saying about the psoriasis and all that, I think when someone goes through a sickness or a condition, it makes you more aware of what the other person may be feeling. You know, now that you went through certain things, you are able to understand the other person when they are going through those things too, and help them in another level. So yeah, I mean, if the cardiologist is not exempt of having a heart attack, it's something that is part of life, right? That you may suffer for it. That doesn't mean that person doesn't know how the heart works, how to help with the heart and all that. So I hope that answered the question. But yes, it makes it in a way easier, and it's, put it lightly there, because it will help you to understand what is going on and to recognize that if something is wrong with you, and then start working on yourself.
Mm. Well, it seems to me that is really the best way. It would be the equivalent of taking your car to an auto mechanic who drives a junker that has trouble starting. You think that they would use their expertise to work on their vehicle to get it running optimally before they start working on somebody else's car. It's like, well, I thought you said you had experience doing this. Well, we have experience, and that is in talking with folks such as yourself, Mary Ruiz, who is with the website, which is discoverhealing.com. That's discoverhealing.com, as we continue here on Tell Me Your Story. I mentioned that there are all kinds of other modalities. My wife and I, for example, Mary Ruiz, we are Reiki masters. And we went through the 3 levels of training, and we were given instruction and guidance, and that we are nothing more than conduits of the very energy, which is kind of what we're talking about here, energy healing, that we don't really control it. Is that really the case in this case with the body, mind, or the body, emotion, and heart codes, that you can only do so much, but if the individual is not willing to receive it, and or even if they do receive it, use it in such a way that improves their health and well-being, there isn't much that you as a practitioner can do.
You know what, Reverend, that is a very important point that you're making. You need to put the effort and the work, right? It's not a magic pill. Obviously, you're going to facilitate certain things within your body, like releasing those emotions, right? But the person needs to put also the other part, which is being, open to heal and open to do what they need to do to heal. Example, if you are not eating well, right? If the body is telling you, because there is the way that we connect with the body, and the body says, okay, the body is suggesting for you to eat more greens. You need to integrate within your week 3 times, eat more greens. If that person is not willing to do that, how can you are able to help them? You are helping them, telling them, you need this, right? It's kind of like I'm giving you what you will need to do, but if you don't do it, there is a block right there. You know what I'm saying? So obviously, it's part of you taking charge of you too. It's not just let it to be on and give you power. The power is within you to heal yourself too. So yes, that's a very important point that you are making.
My father stated that you should eat, drink, and be merry because nobody gets out of this world alive. We're all going to, as we've defined it, we're all going to die.
Yes.
So, what good is it to? I know this sounds very strange. What good is it to do anything to improve one's health if we're born to die? I mean, when we get here through our mother's womb, we have a terminal disease. It's called life.
Mm-hmm.
Explain why the processes that you use as a practitioner are important, necessary, of any value whatsoever. If we're just going to die anyway, what's the point of extending my life? See, I want to live to be 100. Okay, I have a goal. Okay, but darned, I sure as heck do not want to live to be 100, bedridden or in a wheelchair. I want quality of life to the very end.
Yes, I think that's the point that you just made, right? How do you want it to die?
Mm-hmm.
Are you wanted to live, right, or experience your life healthy, enjoying life, going to the game, enjoying the Cowboys, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Or you wanted to be at the hospital all the time. So I think that's the point, that if you don't want it to be on bedridden and you wanted to start enjoying life and going travel, or with your kids, your partner, seeing the Cowboys or the sports, in my case the basketball, is part of taking charge of your health, right? Is knowing that you need to really take care of your body. And sometimes we forget about it because our body is so amazing. It's so amazing. It has this quality to heal itself, right? If you cut yourself, you don't get into, okay, I need to connect this cell with this other cell. I need to send. So it has this quality to heal and to be optimal. So what are you doing to it? Sometimes we take care more of our cars. We are more aware of every 3 months going to do the oil change, change the tires and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't take care of us. And there is, our body is our car, to put it that way, that is going to help us to be for more than 80 years. And the car is only 5 years, and we're taking care of more of that. Yeah. So I think that's important to have in mind.
Yeah, it's kind of funny if you think about it. My car runs optimally. Man, it just runs like a top, but I'm rolling around in a wheelchair.
You see?
And I guess another element too in all of this is that each one of us, and this is one of the things we promote on this program, needs to find their life's purpose. A lot of people, they're just going through the motions day in and day out. They work 9 to 5. They go home. They maybe there's a family and they have dinner and they watch a little TV. They go to bed. They wake up and they do it all over again, 5 days a week, sometimes 6, sometimes 7, because they need the money in order to make this happen.
Yeah.
Do you help people through this process to not necessarily help them to find their purpose in life, but maybe through this process that you take them through, they are able to understand that they need to find a reason to go forward, and it's not just to work 9 to 5, 5 days a week, and basically to just survive, but to find a reason to thrive.
Yeah. I think if you have what we call trap emotions, right? And you are living just to eat, rest, go to work, and then start over again. And you don't realize that you have these trap emotions like depression, confusion, abandonment. those emotions in a way will block you of finding your purpose, or to even feel that there is something else about life and to enjoy life. People with depression, with conditions that they make them so hard for them to to see the light, right? And with those emotions, once you start releasing them and being able to identify and see what are the blockages, it will help you with it. So yes, we help them in Discover Healing to see, okay, you're going through this. Let's see what are those emotions that can block in you: anxiety, rejection, sadness, all those things that we may feel that in a way are blocking you of feeling what is your purpose, or even finding joy again, finding that willing to go out and smell the flowers, like said. It's important to address them and to release them. That's why we are so passionate in Discover Healing about it, because we know how can impact people's lives and their loved ones too.
Well, it seems to me that that there is a process that we can latch onto. And again, I mentioned that there are all kinds of different modalities. That this is just on the one hand, this is just one of many. What sets this process apart at discoverhealing.com? What sets this apart from the others?
Well, obviously there is tons of it, right? And you're going to go with the one that is more, it resonates more with you. What I love about this one in particular that we offer here in Discover Healing, like for example, the emotion code, is that it's very simple. It goes directly to what it is without so many steps. There's only 4 steps. You learn those steps right there in Discover Healing. We have resources that you can go and check it out. The emotion code book teaches you how to do it right there. So it's a matter of you wanted to learn it, simple as, step 1, step 2, step 3, and step 4. Step 1 is recognizing that there is an emotion that probably is blocking you something. Step 2 is identifying the emotion. Step 3 is releasing it. And step 4 is allowing your body to process. So it's very simple. And it can take you, let's say, 10 minutes to, every day, like just when you are cleaning your mouth before you sleep, to do the process, and you will start seeing the results. So that's why I love it. And there is other modalities that it can also help you, because obviously there's tons of it. But the one that is particular, very simple and go to the point, is with the emotion code, then the body code and all that. The body code makes it simple because we have the app where you start identifying those imbalances, and it guides you. You don't have to guess, and is one of the things that I love about it.
Well, it seems to me that we need to find something that will help us to get through to, shall we say, the other side. And when I say the other side, I mean in terms of saying, you know what, I don't want to be like, let's just say, I don't want to be like my mother or my grandmother. One of the other things that I find interesting and maybe a little disturbing is the fact that today, in the 21st century, we're dealing with conditions that didn't even exist 50 or 100 years ago. It's like every time I turn around, somebody has cancer, some form of cancer. Or now we're talking about Alzheimer's or dementia. My father, for example, when he passed, 5 days before his passing, he was diagnosed with early onset dementia along with Parkinson's, early onset Parkinson's. So I miss my dad, but I'm glad he's not here dealing with those 3 years later. What's going on in our culture, in our society? Are other countries dealing with this stuff too, or have we in the United States done this to ourselves?
I don't think it's just part of the United States. I think it's, it's something that is, now we are global, right? We are able to see how it's affecting in other parts too. But the world is change. It's not the same as it was. And we have other stresses. And I think part of it, the stress is such a great component on our health that it can detonate or trigger other stuff that before it wasn't there.
Mm-hmm.
So dealing with it and helping with, your nervous system and being aware of that, or even our nutrition is so different now. The food is so different as it was. When I was little, I remember the milk was, in these glass containers, and the the person will take those glass containers to our home in the door, so it will be there. I don't know.
Yeah.
And it was delicious.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then later on, you learn that, okay, milk is no longer good for you. And that, okay, it tastes different. So it's part of how we are changing and how our body needs to adjust to other toxins and components that it's making it ill.
It's been said that every 7 years we have a brand new body. Now, it's a gradual process. It doesn't happen overnight.
Yeah.
That every one of those trillions of cells dies, is sloughed off, but is then replaced by a new one. And yet we manage to hang on to the dis-ease and to the distress. And I myself, for example, I don't know if I want to say contracted, but I had glaucoma in my left eye. Now, my left eye was only 2,400 to begin with from birth. I had some congenital issues. But when my wife and I moved to Santa Barbara, I contracted, or glaucoma developed in my left eye, and I lost all of the sight. What little there was, I lost it all. And the pressure in that eye it's either 0 or negative. I don't know. So now I'm supposed to put drops in my right eye to keep glaucoma from developing in my right eye. And so far, so good. Everything seems to be fine. Yeah. But I'm 66 years old, which means 7 times 10 is 70. So I'm just shy by 4 years of reaching 70, which means my body has regenerated to a new body at least 9, going on 10 times. But the eye is still regenerating the same distressed cells that it has had now for, several decades. I mean, the 2,400 and then the glaucoma. So here's the question. What's up with that? Why isn't it regenerating healthy cells to where I can see out of this eye again?
Yeah, I love that, because it kind of opens up your mind, right? To think, okay, what if, and this is just kind of like just a question out there. What if we change our belief about not able to change something that is already in our body program, right? Kind of like a computer. What if we can change the program within our computer, being our brain, that is taking certain information and change that information for a new information? I think that would be very interesting to explore, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
And start kind of like having, let's say, playing with it, and maybe we can change that, changing our belief and therefore changing our program. That would be very interesting.
So there sounds like a certain element of truth coming out of, for example, the movies with Keanu Reeves of The Matrix.
Yeah, that's a good one. I love The Matrix.
So we have to figure out which application or program within the operating system is, shall we say, corrupt. And then we've got to find a new program to either A, fix the corruption of that program, or B, remove the old corrupt program and replace it with a new one, i.e., and of course with a computer, you never really get rid of it. You just overwrite it.
Yeah. And I think science is gonna, catch up with it. Mm-hmm. Once it catches up, we are gonna be able to believe that, right, and be able to apply it. Kind of like it reminds me of when the record of the fastest spring. Like it was like 1 minute something.
Oh yeah.
And once he did that, there were more that they were able to break the record.
Yeah.
So maybe if, because there are people that are able to kind of like reconstruct, even teeth, right?
Right.
So what if we start playing with it and then see what happens? Why not? I mean, there is no harm on trying.
Well, let me ask you this, throw an interesting monkey wrench, if you will, into the works. And that is,
yes,
just watched a program having to do with people traveling to different places on the planet. And specifically in this case, this particular report, they were traveling to places like, I'm sure you're familiar with Fatima, Lourdes, Medjugorje. Now, most people don't know this, but there is another sacred place in Ireland. There's a grotto where the same kinds of things happen. It just doesn't have the notoriety that these other places have. But people go there, and some folks, they are actually cured. So the question to you is, what about divine intervention?
Oh, I think we're opening up to another level here, Reverend. In my particular case, I believe we are held or supported by a higher power. Mm-hmm. And if we are able to connect with it, everything will be kind of easier, right? Because it's for another part of us, compassion and love. So is it your belief about the sacred side that is going to heal you, therefore you are healed, or is it your belief with that you need something outside of you that is healing you? So I think it's interesting and very, very open to see it. Why not, right?
Yeah. Although it's not really outside of us, because it is stated that the kingdom of heaven is within us.
Yeah.
That we are made of the same substance. On the one hand, energetically, we are nothing more than energy, our soul, if you will.
Yeah.
That our physical world is made up of all of the same stardust that everything else is made of. All right. It is said that, that nothing would exist in terms of us if it weren't for example, the one element, carbon. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, in this universe, carbon seems to be the focal point. And again, that's what we call it. I mean, we seem to have a name for everything,
Yes.
It's kind of funny. But I heard this rather interesting comment not long ago that if we are made of the same substance and we were created in the image and likeness of the creator, of the divine, ergo, we are part of the hologram, okay? Which means that there was a movie I saw in high school where they took this giant piece of glass and they treated it in such a way so that when they took a picture with it, it was the film, and then they broke it. Now, the original big sheet of glass was a picture of this big building. Let's just say the Eiffel Tower. Mm-hmm. Then they broke the glass. Every single piece of glass that they picked up contained the whole image. The whole image, not a part, but the whole thing. Well, that's us. Well, if that's the case, when we talk about how we're all connected, we're all part of the one, for example, right? When we pray, who are we praying to? If we are part of the whole. I just thought that was an interesting question. There was a wonderful television series going back about 13, 14 years with Kiefer Sutherland called Touch. The program started out in the first 15, 20 minutes going through 3 or 4 separate stories. Different storylines, right? Totally independent of one another.
Yeah.
Rest of the program showed how each of those 3 or 4 stories intersected and intersected and intersected, showing our connectedness, showing how we affect others and our reality. You've heard the phrase that we create our own reality. So what about that? What about that? And again, we're sort of taking it to another level, a higher level, in terms of trying to just understand why we take on, and that's another aspect of this too. I'm curious as to whether this has been studied within discoverhealing.com. We took on these dis-eases for a reason, to learn something. Is that a part of the process too?
Well, if you go to a route where you put a meaning to everything that happens to you, it will need to be, okay, why do I have this, and what will be the point of having it, right? Or why I developed this, and what is in it for me having this, you know? What do I wanted to learn about having stomachache or headache? Or if you put it that way, and then it will help you to go into another level to know yourself, to see the experience, or going through this experience, what would you learn? And sometimes you see interviews of people who've been terrible experiences, that they say, you know, thanks to this experience, now I'm able to see so and so, and I'm a different person. I'm a better person, or I help people in this other way. So sometimes we don't have all the answers for it, you know. It's part of that level that we trust in the higher power. I think that's important to see it too.
Asking the question, I interviewed a gentleman who had stomach cancer and had part of his stomach, or most of his stomach, removed.
Yeah.
And I asked him, in the context of the interview, I said, have you ever contemplated the reason why you chose to have that stomach cancer and then the stomach removed? Well, believe it or not, he had never really thought about that. But there, in the context of the interview, he's processing. Yeah. And he goes back to his childhood and the dinner table and the dynamics that were going on there that may have precipitated his choosing to, again, because we create our own reality, create that cancer that he ended up losing his stomach. But what was fascinating for me was that he had never thought about it before until he and I started talking. Yeah. And it seems to me that is a really, it's one thing to get rid of the distress and the dis-ease and so to speak, right the apple cart. Yeah. But it's another to understand why the apple cart was not righted in the first place. So that maybe we could avoid upending the apple cart down the road.
Yes. And also, knowing that is make you wonder, and also asking yourself, right? If I went through this and that through my childhood, what are those beliefs in my mind that they are making me going through this too, right? The typical, like, well, your father was like that, and then your grandpa too. So maybe you have that belief already that is causing you to go through that path, because that's the thing that you believe as true. So yeah, it kind of like, once you start realizing that and making you those questions, it kind of opens up another possibility for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Mary Ruiz is my guest here on the program. We're talking, of course, about the website that we want you to check out, and that is discoverhealing.com, talking about the body, the emotions, and the belief code, or the heart code, which is the title of one of the 3 books. And we hope that you'll get a copy of those books. Check this out. And there's also something that is available free at the website. Is that correct?
Yes, they can go to resources and they can start practicing, identifying an emotion and releasing it. So they can also learn right there.
Yeah. And it's been said that if we could just release ourselves from a lot of these things in this lifetime, that if one does believe in, for example, reincarnation, we don't have to work them out later in another lifetime, that we can maybe pursue other things and help other people in the next lifetime to move forward, because that's kind of what we're here to do, is to help one another. Discoverhealing.com is the website, as we continue here on Tell Me Your Story. I am Reverend Dr. D. She is Mary Ruiz, and Mary, certified emotion code, body code, and belief code practitioner, staff practitioner. I want to thank you so much for being here with us here on the program and sharing with us this practice. And again, discoverhealing.com. It's something that we're trying to do, and that is to change the world. It's a big task, but I'll tell you what, I'd rather take that on than anything else right now. Because it's not that this is a horrible, awful, icky place. This is this is a beautiful place, okay? And there's always room for improvement.
Yes, definitely. And I want your everybody who is today here, that they can go to discoverhealing.com and sign up for. We are doing in August something very special to help everybody who is there at the call in August to experience what it is to release emotions, so they can also be a volunteer and experience it by themselves. So there is the invitation.
Very exciting. We'd love, and I'd love to have you back to talk more about that as well.
Of course, anytime. I appreciate the invitation. Thank you so much, Reverend.
Well, I have 3 more questions for you that I ask all of my guests. But before I ask those of you, I want to thank you for listening to and watching Tell Me Your Story, New Paradigms for a New World, where we're giving you choices and knowledge of those choices to help make your dreams come true. We are here on Sundays at 7 a.m. and 7 p.m., Monday mornings at 1 a.m., Wednesdays at 9 a.m., and streaming live from 8 to 9 a.m., Monday through Friday at richarddugan.com with podcasts. On SoundCloud, iTunes, TuneIn Radio, Spotify, Stitcher, Player FM, Blueberry, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and we're also on YouTube and Rumble, where you can watch these conversations. I hope you'll subscribe and also click notification. I also hope that you'll go to Amazon.com to get a copy of my book, Choices, 5 Steps for Life. It's available in hardcover, paperback, as well as Kindle. And we also hope that if you can help us out financially, we would be gratefully appreciative. We have PayPal and Zella, and you use the email address richard@richarddugan.com to send us whatever support you can. And thank you to those who have helped and to those who will help. We also hope that you'll take time during this decade of perfect vision, the 2020s, to go within to that quiet, peaceful, calm, still place and listen to and follow the promptings of that still small voice. With all that being said, we now go to our final 3 questions for a very special guest. The first of those 3 is, who is Mary Ruiz?
Wow, that's a very good question, Reverend. I'm still trying to figure it out. Every day I learn something new about Mary Ruiz. Right now is a mom and a staff practitioner that loves to help people and to learn and to be open to the wonders of the world.
What gets you up in the morning?
My kids, definitely.
And what was your best day?
Oh, my best day is today. That's the only one I have.
Wonderful. Glad to be a part of it too. Again, thank you
Yes.
so much for joining us. And I thank you for listening to and watching Tell Me Your Story. And until our next broadcast, podcast, videocast, love to love. Jeanette, I'm still listening. Dad, continue to be happy because I am. Smokey, I'll see you on the other side. Mike, thanks for being in my life and letting me be in yours. To my brother, Michael, welcome to fatherhood. And to my dear friend, Zorro, aho, aho.